Imagine being told that your dream would never work. That's exactly what Jeff Bezos faced in the beginning. When Jeff Bezos first had the idea for Amazon, many people thought he was crazy. The idea of an online bookstore in the early 90s was almost laughable. The internet was still a new and unexplored frontier, and many businesses were skeptical about conducting commerce online. Yet Bezos had a vision. He believed that the internet was going to change everything, and books were just the beginning. Leaving a high-paying job at a prestigious Wall Street firm, Bezos risked it all. He moved to Seattle, built a small team, and started working out of his garage. But the struggles didn't end there. The early days were filled with doubt and failure. Bezos wasn't just building a business. He was building an entirely new model for how people would shop. To make matters worse, Amazon was losing money. Bezos invested his own savings into the company, and for the first few years, there was no sign of profitability. Investors weren't convinced, and Amazon was barely keeping its head above water. In fact, many of his initial investors were uncertain about the future of the company. People thought it was a fleeting idea that would never compete with established retail giants like Barnes & Noble. Yet, Bezos kept going. Why? Because he was fueled by his belief in the long-term potential of the internet, and the idea that businesses should put customers first, an idea that no one else was taking seriously at the time. It wasn't about making a quick profit. It was about building something that would last, something revolutionary. This early stage in Bezos' journey was about failure overcoming doubt, lack of resources, and endless obstacles. But through all the struggles, he maintained a vision that eventually would lead to one of the biggest success stories in business history. Success doesn't happen overnight, but consistent effort over time can transform any dream into reality. While the world was doubting Amazon's potential, Jeff Bezos was doubling down on one key principle: consistency. Bezos knew that for Amazon to succeed, it couldn't just be a flash in the pan. It had to be built on solid foundations, with small, steady steps taken every single day. In the early years, Amazon's focus was clear customer satisfaction. Bezos believed that the customer experience should always come first. But what made this so powerful was that this wasn't just a slogan. It became part of the company's DNA. Bezos was obsessed with getting things right, even when the company was losing money. From offering easy returns to speedy shipping, Amazon was relentless in its pursuit of delivering the best experience to its customers. This focus on consistency is something that anyone can apply to their own journey, whether you're building a business, a career, or personal growth. Consistency is what separates those who achieve big goals from those who don't. Bezos didn't expect overnight success. Instead, he worked tirelessly, day in and day out, building Amazon's reputation, improving the website, and tweaking the business model. There were no shortcuts. Bezos knew that success would come, but only if he and his team stuck to the plan. They didn't look for quick wins. They focused on doing the right thing, even when the results weren't immediate. The steady effort over time would eventually pay off. Think about your own goals for a moment. Whether it's getting fit, writing a book, or building a business, how consistent are you with your efforts? It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't moving fast enough, but Bezos' story teaches us that consistency is key. He didn't get discouraged by early failures. He used them as fuel to keep pushing forward. Consistency is what transformed Amazon from a small online bookstore to the global e-commerce giant it is today. Every single decision, every action, every day, built upon the last. And if you stay consistent with your efforts, you can achieve something just as remarkable. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. We often hear about the successes of famous entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos, but what has often left out of the story are the failures that actually played a key role in shaping his eventual success. Bezos didn't just breeze through challenges. He faced enormous setbacks along the way. But each failure was a lesson that pushed him forward rather than holding him back. One of the most significant setbacks Bezos faced was the burst of the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s. At the time, investors were pouring money into tech companies left and right, and the market was overheated. Amazon, like many other startups, was hit hard. Its stock price plummeted, and for a while, it seemed like Amazon might not survive the fallout. But instead of panicking, Bezos used the crisis as an opportunity to reevaluate and refocus. He didn't just stick to the traditional e-commerce model. He looked for new ways to diversify and build the company for the long term. In the aftermath of the dot-com crash, Bezos redefined Amazon's purpose. Rather than just being a retailer, he turned Amazon into an all-encompassing platform, leading to innovations like Amazon Web Services, Amazon Prime, and more. Another key failure came with the launch of Amazon's first big initiative outside of books, the Amazon Fire Phone. It was supposed to revolutionize the smartphone industry, but it didn't. In fact, it was a major flop. Amazon poured millions into the project, but it didn't resonate with customers, and the Fire Phone was discontinued after just a few years. Many people saw this as a sign that Bezos was overreaching. But Bezos, instead of seeing this as a permanent failure, understood that innovation often comes with risk. The Fire Phone didn't work, but it taught Amazon valuable lessons about what customers actually wanted in a product. And that knowledge helped drive future successes, like the Amazon Echo and Alexa. These failures didn't define Jeff Bezos, they refined him. Every failure was an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. He understood that failure wasn't something to be feared, but something to embrace as part of the process. Every setback made Amazon stronger and more innovative. At one point, it seemed like Amazon might never succeed. But then something changed. For years, Jeff Bezos and his team worked tirelessly, facing obstacles, overcoming setbacks, and building Amazon from the ground up. But there was a pivotal moment when everything began to fall into place, and Amazon started to transform into the e-commerce giant it is today. That moment came when Bezos made a bold decision to move beyond books. Despite the company's initial focus on becoming the world's largest online bookstore, Bezos realized that the internet had the potential to revolutionize more than just one industry. He decided to expand Amazon's offerings first to music, then to electronics, and then to pretty much everything else. This was a massive risk. Amazon was already losing money, and expanding beyond books meant diving into competitive markets with bigger players. But Bezos was driven by his vision of Amazon becoming a one-stop shop for everything. By focusing on variety and offering the lowest possible prices, Amazon set itself apart. One of the most important changes that followed was the launch of Amazon Prime in 2005. It allowed customers to pay a yearly fee for unlimited 2-day shipping. This was a game changer. Customers loved the convenience, and the subscription model created a steady stream of recurring revenue. It wasn't just a transaction, it was a relationship. This shift from a purely transactional company to a customer relationship-based model helped Amazon build a loyal customer base that continued to grow. It was a defining moment in Bezos' journey. Despite the constant failures, setbacks, and doubts, Amazon's breakthrough was in its ability to evolve, adapt, and put the customer at the center of everything. Bezos had proven that even in the face of uncertainty, persistence, risk-taking, and adaptability could turn the tide. What Jeff Bezos teaches us is that success doesn't come easily. It comes through persistence, learning from failure, and never giving up. When we look at Jeff Bezos' journey, it's clear that the road to success was far from straight. It wasn't a simple climb from point A to point B. Instead, it was a journey filled with failures, setbacks, and moments when giving up seemed like the easier choice. But Bezos' story proves that the real difference between success and failure isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about embracing them and learning from them. The key takeaways from Bezos' journey are simple, yet powerful. Persistence is key. Despite facing financial struggles, doubts from investors, and constant challenges, Bezos never gave up. His vision was unwavering, and he was determined to make Amazon a success, no matter how many obstacles came his way. Failure is a learning opportunity. Bezos didn't fear failure. Instead, he viewed it as an essential part of the process. Whether it was the dot-com crash or the failure of the Fire phone, Bezos used each misstep as a stepping stone, refining his approach and pushing Amazon toward greater success. Consistency matters. Bezos' ability to stay consistent, whether in customer service or product offerings, helped Amazon grow into the global powerhouse it is today. The small, everyday actions compounded over time to create something extraordinary. So, what does this mean for you? Whether you're chasing a dream, starting a business, or simply trying to improve yourself, remember that success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you persevere through challenges. Stay consistent, learn from your failures, and most importantly, keep going. If Bezos can turn his failures into fuel for success, so can you. The journey might be tough, but the rewards are worth it. So take his story as motivation to keep pushing forward in your own life, no matter how many hurdles you encounter.